Some of you asked for it, all of you get it. In the spirit of election season, we recently held a vote to determine what game we should cover next. Also, I was killing time while I was waiting for some games to come in, but anyway. The winner was WWF Superstars for the Game Boy, released in North America in April 1991. Sorry, Bop and Wrestle fans, we'll get you another time. In the nearly 3 dozen episodes we've done, we've never really touched on handheld gaming. In a world of smartphones and iPod touches, the idea of video games you can play anywhere has really been taken for granted. The best we could do in the early to mid-80s were the old Nintendo Game & Watch series, which were portable but extremely primitive compared to what the NES could do. But the idea really came to fruition with the release of the Nintendo Game Boy in 1989, which combined the Nintendo brand with interchangeable game cartridges, and was an enormous hit. If you factor in later iterations like the Game Boy Color, worldwide it's the 3rd best-selling console ever, outlasting later handheld consoles that were technologically superior. Superstars was developed by Rare and published by LJN, and you're probably cringing since those were the teams behind WrestleMania for the NES, which was awful, and WrestleMania Challenge, which was a bit less awful. Well, that upward curve continued because Superstars is a pretty damn good game. It helped that the Game Boy had already been out for 2 years before its release, so they had a pretty good idea what the system could do. The game only has one mode where you basically beat everyone to win the title, with your only options being able to select regular matches at 2 out of 3 falls, or a 5, 10-minute, or no time limit. And that's pretty sparse, but I think we all knew the trade-off. Namely that the system wasn't overly powerful, but you could play it on the bus or in the waiting room at the dentist's office. Here's the roster. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho King Randy Savage, and yes kids, that was his nickname at the time, Ted DiBiase, and Mr. Perfect. 5 wrestlers may seem slim, but it wasn't too far off from the NES games around this time. And again, I think we all knew to lower our expectations. And besides, if you were going to choose 5 wrestlers, those are 5 pretty good choices. Savage was technically retired when the game came out, but he would be in before the year ended. Warrior was gone after SummerSlam, and Perfect went on an in-ring break, but both guys will be back in 1992 at least. Graphically, the game looks great, and not just for a Game Boy game. I actually think the presentation is better than any of the WWF NES games. Before matches, the wrestlers trade trash talk, and their pictures are large and detailed. When you play the game, you get a nice sideways shot of the ring, somewhat reminiscent of the Superstars arcade game, though that's about where the similarities end. The wrestlers look fine, and some nice flourishes like the WWF logo on the canvas and the camera flashes in the audience. Sound is great too, as you get renditions of each wrestler's theme song at the character selection screen. That's a pretty sweet rendition of Mr. Perfect's theme. So I'm not quite sure what they were going for with DiBiase's theme music. Here's how you play. Everyone essentially has the same moves, which is a bummer, but hey, lowered expectations. You hit B to grab your opponent into a body slam, and if you time it right, when they get up you can grab them again, and execute a headlock with punches, suplex, or a brutal-looking pile driver. It's a little odd, but it's fine when you get the hang of it. If your opponent tries to grab you as you get off the mat, you can counter with a leg trip spinebuster move, or you can roll and try to avoid your opponent's grasp. And if you're like me, you'll be rolling so much you'll appear your wrestlers on fire. You can also do a running dropkick or clothesline and come off the top rope, and the moves are smooth and easy to pull off. You may notice you have a star under your health bar. Basically, if you hit select during the match, you'll pick up your opponent up and hurl them out of the ring, which inflicts some big damage. It actually has some strategy, as you may want to use it early or save it for later if you're falling behind. And after the match, Vince McMahon tells us how the fans will be talking about that match for years. Basically the same way how certain wrestlers will never be the same after a match, and then they are. This is a fun game. I don't want to put it over as a classic, but it's perfect to pick up, play a match, and put it back down. It overachieves given the Game Boy's hardware limitations, has solid controls, and a lot of neat touches that make it feel like a true WWF game. There was a sequel called, go figure, Superstars 2, but Rare wasn't involved in that. The company went on a tremendous hot streak in the mid to late 90s. That included Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct, GoldenEye, and Banjo-Kazooie, among others. It's too bad. They finally figured out a pretty solid game, and I'd like to see what they could do the next time around. Oh well. Till next time, thanks for watching and voting. And remember, a winner is you.
The exciting young stars of CWF Mid-Atlantic burst onto internet pay-per-view on Saturday, October 20th, as for the first time ever, the 30-man over-the-top rope CWF Rumble will be broadcast live to the world. Who will be the last man standing at the end of this incredible match? Plus, the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight title is on the line and so much more for just $9.99. Don't miss the incredible action at the CWF Rumble on iPay-per-view at rumble.cwf247.com.